If you want to be a winner at sports betting, then you're going to need to know this. I'm Tony from Bet Analyst. Let's crack on. So let's start with what you shouldn't be doing. Warren Buffett once said, invest in what you know. And in betting terms, that means stay away from anything that you don't understand. You shouldn't be spending all day looking for free tips on websites and other social media. Most of these are affiliates and they make money from your losses. Don't just accept any odds. If a bet is a value at 2.2, it doesn't mean it's going to be value at 1.9. If it's got a 50% chance, the value is gone. Bear this in mind. Also, just have a look at this. This is Bet 3000. Just look at those 1x odds, the double chance odds. Just look how they rip you off. If you can get them individually, 5.4, 3.75, you get odds of 221. If you bet them on their offer, the 1x, it's 1.95. It's disgusting, right? Be careful. Pros don't get drawn into the sunk cost fallacy. That's people who go chasing losses or investing more in something where the odds have gone wrong. Don't do it. Don't bet on anything without meaning. Just for example, friendlies, end of season games, cups, events that have already been decided. Now, in the Euro 2024, Portugal had already got 6 points on the board and they were still favourites for their third game. They didn't win it, they didn't need to. Bear that in mind. Laziness. I had one guy write to me, he was using Rebel betting and he was placing 10 bets before he went golfing in the morning and then another 10 bets at night. He expected to make a fortune betting 100 quid on each of them. I'm afraid you've got to be realistic when it comes to betting, and laziness isn't part of the deal. You've got to have a work ethic, it's super important. Your return on investment is on yourself, you make sure that you put enough in and you're going to get a lot out. Getting greedy is not a good idea. Now, I had one guy, he used to be feeding me horse racing information all the time, right? He used to get it all from the stables, and I tell you, most of them would win. He used to put all his money on himself, but the second he won, he actually went betting again and again and again. He just couldn't stop. It was the greed that got the better of him, and this kept happening all the time. A trainer of ours, with our horses, right, he was exactly the same. He always needed money. He was winning on his own horses, he was winning on our horses, should I say, and then what he was doing was playing slot machines, thinking he could win $1 million that way. It's a sickness, right? If you can't get that into your head, don't. Another mistake of the average punter is always wanting to bet the positives. They want to bet something to happen. They want to bet over the 2.5 goals. They want to bet over in the basketball games and the NFL games. They want to bet the favourites to win, to cover the spread, and so on, right? Now, the thing is, it's advantageous to actually bet the negatives in most cases because the bookmakers react to what they expect from the customer and they raise the bar. Bear that in mind. Now let's talk about what you should be doing. And the first thing is, make your sports betting into a business. This is what winners do. It's imperative to have a plan covering things like financials, the process, the strategies you're going to put in place. Get some targets, plan for the future. Let me make it instantly clear. It's a numbers game and you need to understand them. So work hard on the understanding of odds and how many bets you're going to have to get into the system, the EV and so on. A plan will help you become more efficient and you're going to get more out of the game. You need to sharpen up. They call professional gamblers sharps for a reason. In sports betting, every cent counts. It's a game of fine margins. Learn how to use the odds and lines and put them in your favour. What's the value of a point? Ask yourself, in NBA, NFL, or a goal in soccer. Also start thinking about the Asian handicaps and how you can learn them and how you can get the most out of them and how you can make them yourself. How can you create higher odds? Just think about it. And on that note, we're going on to the next one, which is betting exchanges. You can take it from me. Winners are not paying 5% commission to Betfair. Agents might be taking 3%, and even that is too high. If you've got massive turnover with the exchanges, right, you can negotiate either A, with the exchanges, or you can go directly to the VIP manager. Back in the day, we was getting 0% and we was also getting commission raised against us. So just think that through. Negotiate, right? Find a partner if you can't. Each and every Brit can get a 2% account. So if you're in another country and you can't, team up with a Brit. Yes, just basically pros want the best deal. Every cent counts and you need to make it work. Professionals know how to benchmark. You do not take below the market odds. Now understand, it's important that you don't go below the Pinnacle or Betfair odds if they've got liquidity. And you can find even stronger benchmarks once you know what you're doing, right? It's all about getting a feeling for the game and making sure you have got a benchmark, because that's the odds they're going to be chasing. Separate your funds. Make sure you have your personal funds separate to your business funds, and your business funds are for betting. Yes, the owner of a business doesn't use company money to buy his groceries or go and get his beer. Paying yourself is a different matter, of course. I mean, obviously, if you're making big money from sports betting, you're not going to live off of thin air, so you need to pay yourself a salary, but you need to get to that stage first, right? So keep a track of all monies and make sure that you've got the ammunition to hit the bookmakers where it counts. Have realistic expectations. The calculation is simple. It's the number of bets you expect to make times the stake divided by the EV, the expected value. So in the instance that you had 100 bets with 100 stakes at a 5% EV, you would get 500. So don't expect to outperform the market, just be realistic. Apply dutching, hedging and laying when appropriate. Dutching is just splitting your bets. Hedging is if you're going to be buying back something, and laying is if you want something to get beat, you want to lay to get beat, right? Just focus on eking out a profit. It doesn't matter how. You've got to determine each situation and get the most out of it. If you're going to bet professionally, then learn to do your own work. Right, you need to do the research, look at it for injuries, look for team news. Even the weather effects has an impact on games. Bad weather could mean less goals, less points. Bear that in mind. What about the late arrival of a team? It could have affected their equilibrium for the day. I could go give you a few stories, but the moral of the story is you just need to do your own work. You're going to need to source your bets, whether it's relying on yourself or finding people that can help you. Remember also that you can share your tips with other people and they can do the same for you. So there's ways to get more meat out of the game. It's okay to buy, to share, to just basically get more information. What do they say? It's all in the detail. Massively important is multiple betting accounts. It's a no-brainer. The more accounts you have, the more choice you've got. And even if you've got the same accounts with the same company, it means you can tap them up again, right? So, if you need to get higher stakes down, you're going to need more than just an individual account. As a professional gambler, we are always looking for more accounts. And on that note, if you do have anything in Australia, one of our clients is looking. It's not a charity. Learn to pay your way. Now, you might want to be top of the food chain, but the thing is, if you don't look after people, they won't look after you. Right? Professional punters are particularly good in looking after people that bring them information. There is nothing such as a free dinner, and that's something you need to get into your head. Look after people, invest in the right tools. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out. It's imperative that you learn to keep secrets. If you are told to keep something to yourself, that's what you do. You're not a 10-year-old girl and you don't go passing on this information to others. When we have had horses lined up, believe me, I'm not even going to tell my dead grandmother. The thing is, right, wagging your tongue in, the business of spine costs lives. In betting, it costs money. We don't do it. You need to take a disciplined approach. Don't get greedy just because you won a few quid, or you start thinking that you're actually better than you are, right? It's a mistake, right? So there's always going to be downswings. There's going to be variance is inevitable. Now, some guys, they go into value betting and they go straight away 15% up on each bet and they start thinking this is going to be the future. But the moral of the story is things balance out, so make sure you take a disciplined approach. Most professional gamblers that I know have a good character. People want to do business with them, right? So, make sure that you deliver on promises, pay on time, look after people like I mentioned before. I've seen enough people come and go in this business because they've not followed through. As an analyst, we are always judging each other, so make sure you do things right. Make sure that you understand the rules. Now, while most of them are universal, universe, different bookmakers, different sports books have different rules. So go through them. They can vary, like the goal scorer markets. What about in MLB? Is it with the pitcher, or does the pitcher is irrelevant, right? What about a tennis match, a retirement? How far do they have to go before a bet is settled? Points for cards betting, look at also things like even the quell for the results service. If they say they're going to do something on the number of shots on goal, then they're going to use a certain service, right? And that's going to be the official adjudicator in that, right? So make sure that you understand, otherwise you might come at the end of getting bets cancelled or even accused of cheating, and we don't want that. So as always, I hope you got something from this video. Betting is about staying ahead of the game, about learning. You can do it. A lot of other people are making lots of money out there by betting professionally. So if you want it, stay in the zone. We do have a mentorship program if people are wanting that. Don't forget also, we are looking for betting accounts for clients, also attached to this sort of mentorship program, so if you can bear that in mind. But you're through to bootcamp for now. I'm Tony from Betting Analyst. Catch you in the next one soon. Bye bye.